Funding for this program provided in part by the Sanibel Captiva Chamber of Commerce and by the Tween Waters Inn.
Hey, Jeff, up here, man. Over here. No, up. Hey, this is it. You can set up here. Look, you can put your camera right over here, and then we can put a reflector over here, and I can set my easel right here. That's a great spot. Come on. Jeff? Hey. Hey, man, come on. Hello everyone, I'm Bob Fagan. Welcome to Painting on Location. Right now I'm here at South Seas Plantation, and that's on the north end of Captiva Island, which is north of Sanibel Island. And I kind of wanted to get away from the hustle and bustle of this place and get out here in the woods. I saw some mangrove trees over here the other day that I want to throw some paint at. So let me see if I can find that spot, and let's see what happens. Well, we found this nice little spot here. We kind of pulled off the road, and we got kind of a little dock area right here. And as you can see, we are in the swamp. I mean, we came in and we checked around to see if there was any snakes or alligators before we set up. Now, the cameraman is standing kind of in the swamp, and I'm sitting on this dock here. And I've got my feet kind of dangling over the edge, and I'm going to look around every once in a while and check and make sure that nothing, no creepy crawler. But this sure is a pretty spot here, isn't it? This is great. So I'm actually going to be sitting down on this one too. Now try not to look too much at my legs, okay? Try to keep your eyes on the painting. Just kidding. What I'm going to do is I'm not even going to bother to sketch this in because it's just a lot of branches and trees, and of course you've got the roots going down in the water there. So I'm just going to mix up some browns and blues. And I'm going to start painting the shape of those trees. Let me just start out with something like this and see what happens here. Now I'm going to be doing a lot of squinting at that. If you squint, it kind of gets rid of all the details and just shows up certain limbs. Now the sun's going to be moving too, and all those are going to be changing. I'm going to start over here and just start making some of those shapes. Here, come down this way, reach in and get some brown maybe and put on that. Don't worry about those splatters. All the way down here, some more red. Well, there's a lot of creepy sounds around here. A lot of things walking around and splashing, and this is kind of fun. Down into here, put some yellow in that. See how I'm kind of just changing colors? Back in here. See if I can blot that up. This painting is going to get real sloppy. Mix some red with this blue. Back in here. Start painting the shape of those tree trunks. Back in here. They just kind of come every which direction. See, I'm holding this brush way out at the end because I don't want to have to get down here and make it look like I'm trying to do a lot of detail stuff. All right, another one back here. Put some more red in that. And one coming back here. I'm not trying to copy it exactly. I'm just kind of trying to get the feel of the whole place. This will all make more sense a little later on when I start coming in with more dark. Hopefully. Back over here. Have some of them coming around others. Just go every which direction. This is really a pretty spot back in here. All right, all down in here. Or they just go everywhere. Blue. All right, then we have a nice one coming over here. It's up here. Some more burnt sienna in that. Nice and sloppy. All right, I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and put some of this water in also. I'm going to leave some of the white of the sky back here on that water. Back here. All right. There's a lot more branches than what I've indicated here, but I don't want to put too many in at this point. So I think what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to stop and let all this dry completely. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and start painting behind some of these shapes, painting real dark back in there, and put other tree roots and things like that. You start off with a basic color like this, or basic shapes, and then you start getting darker behind everything. So I'm going to have to let everything dry, so I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Sanibel and Captiva Islands are both barrier islands, which means they're essentially made of sand and offshore from the mainland. And there is a longshore current that runs along the Gulf of Mexico from the north to the south. And these barrier islands are actually created further north and drip southward. And the northern end of Sanibel Island is 5,000 years old, but the lighthouse end of the island is only about 600 years old. And so there's a natural accretion of sand being built up from the north to the south along this area. And then you have an additional land-building tree, and that's the mangrove tree. The mangrove tree has those funny little prop roots that slow down the movement of water, and when you slow down the movement of water, sediment drops out. And as the sediment drops out, it builds the land. So our bayside is fairly stable because of the mangrove trees that are here. And our beach side, sand comes and goes according to which way the wind delivers the waves onto the island. But the longshore current that travels down the coast contributes to a building downdrift or to the south.
All right, this is nice and dry. So what I want to do is get back in here and start defining some of these trees and some of these roots. What I want to do is keep this main big one that I have going right here. So I'm going to paint darker back behind here. I'm going to make this one a little bit darker back here. It's kind of hard to see with that sun shining right on the paper like that, but that sun's going to be moving away here in a minute anyway. Back here, here. All right, then back down in here someplace. All right, then I'm going to paint the shadowed side of that. It's all down in here. A lot of knots and stuff on there. All right, paint some more back here. And here. The longer I paint on here, the more sense all this starts to make. Right now, it's kind of a jumbled mess, or a jungle mess. In here. That's for sure I'm not going to be able to paint as many branches as there is over there, or roots, because there are thousands of them. I just kind of want to get the feeling of it right now. Got a bunch of stuff coming out here. I think I'll just paint all that in. Come back in there later. Right down into that water. Moving a little bit faster here. Go over in here. Now what I can also do is, while this is wet, you can take your finger, that's why my fingernails have all this paint under them, is I can come down in here and scratch some of those roots out. Like that. That drives people crazy when they hear that. It's like scratching your finger on a blackboard. All right. Back into some more brown and blue. Very quickly. Try to get the feel of that. Right down into the water. I'm gonna have to get fairly aggressive with this one because it is so dark down in there and there's so much going on. I hope that's starting to take shape in there. I also have a palette knife that I use for that too. It's actually for oil painting, but I use that sometimes to scrape things. There's a bunch of them over here. I'll do some more of that later. All right. I'm going to let this dry right in here, and what I want to do now is get back up into these trees. I want to start putting some of those leaves on. And that's fairly dark too. There is, you do see some yellow and some green in there, but it's fairly dark. Start off with a yellowish green. Okay, so I'm going to paint around some of these trees here too. Back behind here. There's a lot of painting around stuff involved in this picture today. Again here. Now here again, I'm not going to be able to put all those leaves in there. I just want to make it look real like there's a lot of foliage in here. Add some blue to that. I'm actually doing the leaves similar to the way I did the tree roots. All back up in here. I'll just paint over that. I'll just cover all this up and then put some darker limbs back in there. Something jumped up out of the water. Alligator check. Lots of green. Just keep working it. It looks like a mess right now. Once all this dries, I can come back in and start putting some detail and hopefully start pulling some of this together. And what I need to do now is after I finish here, is let this thing thoroughly dry so that I can come back and start putting more branches and hopefully make some sense out of this whole thing. Right now, it's almost like an abstract. So, I think I'll do that right now. So this is going to probably take, where we're setting, it's probably going to take about 10 minutes of my time. Your time, it'll just be a few seconds. So I'll be back. All right, this thing is fairly dry. It doesn't have to be totally dry at this point. What I've done here is I've mixed up a real dark. I need to go down in here and pick out a few spots of real dark stuff. So I'll do that now. It's a little hard for me to see at this point because the sun is right back behind me and it kind of pokes through these trees once in a while. In here. Yeah, that's helping. Show some more of those roots. This is something you could spend hours working on. I'm just going to kind of indicate it right now. I think what I'll do is probably take it back later and work on it at my leisure, if I have any. All right, then I'm going to get back up in here, and I'm going to paint some real dark shapes in some of these trees. Back in here, I need some of them really dark. All right. Kind of getting a little bit of glare there, but I think I can work around it. Let's make this one dark. Back up here. Kind of have it poke through and then come back out. Back here, over here. Back in there. There's so much stuff back in there, it's hard to see all of it. Back in here. And I think I'll do some more of that over here. Kind of a fun place to paint. There's a road right behind me here, so you're probably picking up some of this traffic noise too. Back behind here. All right, I'm going to go to my rigger brush here and make some of these smaller branches. They just kind of go every which way. Paint around some of those bigger limbs. It's kind of hard to make sense out of all this. The painting, I mean. Yeah, I think that's helping a little bit. In here. It's kind of noisy with that road over there. Yeah, well, that's the fun of painting on location. There's so much in here, it would be impossible for me to do all those branches while sitting here. So what I'm trying to do is just get the main character of the scene. Come back up here and add some more color to this. Your regular lines over here. I think the mosquitoes are starting in on us now. All right, let me put, I'm going to put a little bit of blue in this water, which is, I don't really have a sky painted it back here, but it is actually picking up some of the blue from the sky. So let me see if I can find a clean spot here. Paint some blue in there. This is really a pretty spot. This is kind of one of the more unusual places that we painted on location. Well, I don't see a whole heck of a lot more to do here, guys. I think they want to go down to the beach, get wet. All right. I can keep going back in here with darks, but I think what I want to do is just take it back and work on it some other time. Because it's starting to, the sun's starting to go down, and it's getting darker back in here, and no telling what comes out after dark. But you can kind of get the idea of what I've done here. I started off with that one wash, and then just kept getting darker behind things, and then darker behind those things, and darker behind those things. It looks very complicated, and it is, but if you just simplify it, it'll work out pretty well for you. There's a lot of stuff I could keep working on, but I'll just take it home and work on it some other time. It's a mighty pretty spot, though. This is Captiva Island, and we're on South Seas Plantation. And these are mangrove trees, and that's what the whole island is made up of. So, we're on to the next location. I have no idea what it's going to be, but so until I see you there, I'm Bob Fagan, and we've been painting on location. How do you like my hat?
This program is available on video for just $17.95 or $179.95 for the whole 13-part Sanibel Captiva series. Also, Bob has produced 3 one-hour instructional videos on the art of watercolor painting. Each one is available for $19.95 or $36.95 for your choice of 2, or all 3 for $54.95. Call 1-800-353-2232 to order.
We've had a great time here today. This is a mighty pretty place. If you get a chance to come up to North Captiva, do so. Bring your paints with you. So until the next time I see you, I'm Bob Fagan, and this is Painting on Location. How do you like my hat? You want to wait till that plane goes over and do it again? If you get a chance to come to Sanibel Captiva, this is North Captiva. And we're in the South Seas Plantation here. So, and we're on to the next spot, and here comes that airplane again. So I'm gonna God, this is the noisiest place we've shot.